Hi, welcome to Audiobook Academy. This is a self-paced audiobook. There's no need to keep an eye on things. Just pay attention. Thank you for taking the time to listen. This is a book summary of Grit by Angela Duckworth. Some people may be less successful than they appear to be, and the star quarterback may be selling second-hand automobiles to make a living. According to Angela Duckworth, our ultimate destination is determined by our level of grit. When it comes to success, some people are more gifted than others, and grit explores this disparity in the lives of both groups of people. According to Duckworth, success comes down to grit, or the ability to persevere in the face of setbacks and stick with a long-term goal despite the obstacles that stand in the way. He believes that success is all about having the drive and determination to achieve our goals. Professor and psychologist Angela Duckworth believes that persistence and passion, rather than innate talent, are the best predictors of success. When she was in third grade, she didn't score high enough to be considered for the gifted program, which is known as the Genius Award by some. When Duckworth was a math teacher, she began to question the idea of natural talent and aptitude. Although some of the most intelligent children were performing poorly in her classroom, she noticed that her students with the highest IQ scores weren't necessarily the most successful. There is a lot of emphasis on intelligence in education, but it doesn't necessarily mean that intelligence is a determinant of success. This summary focuses on this question. Grit is an essential book for anyone who wants to succeed in life. We are reminded that the most important aspect of success is not being the smartest person, but rather the one who has the greatest amount of grit. Grit is more important than talent when it comes to success. We'll examine what grit is and how to cultivate it. The foundations of grit. Grit is made up of two parts. The first is persistence. Top performers don't give up on a project because a new and more appealing opportunity arises. They also do not give up when faced with difficulties. In order to succeed, people need to persevere, overcome obstacles, put in the time, and finish what they start. A successful person devotes their time and energy to something they truly enjoy, and they stick with it for the long term. They can't stray from their path because they're driven by their passion. Passion, on the other hand, differs slightly from the intensity with which it is frequently associated. We shouldn't think of it as a commitment, but as a compass that needs to be calibrated over time before it can serve as a guide on the long road to a final destination. As a result, it's not enough to simply have a passion for something, you must also be able to maintain that interest and dedication over time. Stamina is another word for perseverance, the ability to stay focused on our ultimate goal over the long term, not just for a week or a month. A clear philosophy is needed to keep us on track in life, and we're encouraged to set long-term goals and be given the tools to do so. It's possible to gauge our grit level by looking at the grit scale. My interests change from year to year, and I have overcome setbacks to conquer an important challenge. There is a scoring system for this scale that can help us keep track of our grit levels. Study after study has shown that grit, rather than natural talent, is the most important ingredient in high achievement in any field. The hard work versus talent debate. Whether it's hard work or natural talent that determines a person's success is the subject of much debate. In spite of what we may think, we tend to place natural talent above hard work. This belief was tested in a study conducted in 2011. Musical talent or hard work is more important for success, according to Chia Young-Tse, a psychologist. Practice and hard work were found to be essential by a wide margin. However, the story didn't end there. Apparently, when it comes to the wire, we have a bias toward believing that talent is critical, as demonstrated by this study. They listened to two different recordings of a song in the study. According to what they were told, one was performed by a naturally talented individual, while the other was performed by a more hard-working and highly motivated individual. Both recordings were played back for the participants, who were then asked to rate them. In the end, most people went with the one they thought had the most natural musical ability. They regarded those who were born with musical talent as superior to those who worked hard to develop their skills. However, there was a snag in the plan. The recordings were, in fact, different parts of the same piece performed by the same person. Despite their claims that they valued hard work, the musicians were clearly biased in favor of pure talent. This study shows that talent is often overvalued in society, which means that other factors are undervalued. Grit is often overlooked in favor of more superficial qualities like athleticism or academics, which is a mistake. There is an issue with our talent bias, which is bad for both business and personal development. A favoring of talent can often lead to unproductive and toxic workplaces. Gladwell, who has written extensively on success, also criticizes the talent mindset. He argues that it contributes to a narcissistic work culture, where people are compelled to demonstrate their superiority over their coworkers. At Enron, for example, this emphasis on appearing knowledgeable bred a culture of competition and short-term results at the expense of long-term success and dedication. For example, Enron's annual practice of firing 15% of its employees for poor performance tended to reward dishonesty and discourage integrity. A fixed mindset can result from praising one's own abilities. Those who have a fixed mindset believe that they can't go beyond their perceived limitations. A common thought is, it's pointless to put any effort because I'll never get good enough to compete with them. The idea that innate ability is a predictor of success is a hopelessly pessimistic one. Duckworth argues that our potential is one thing, but what we do with it is quite another. So the message here is that we need a different mindset, and we need to dig a lot deeper. Grit is the key to realizing our full potential. Consider this research. Officials at West Point have been trying to figure out why some students make it through an intense 7-week summer training camp while others drop out. Research has shown that cadets with high SAT scores or high grades are no more likely to succeed than those with lower grades. Neither did prior leadership experience or athletic ability play a significant role in success. Grit played a major role in the outcome. In the end, the grit test accurately predicted who would complete the training. As a result of those findings, other businesses and educational institutions began to conduct similar research projects. Another study conducted in a school setting examined the relationship between grit and success in spelling bees. When it comes to spelling bees, we have a tendency to assume that the winners are the brightest and most talented of the competitors. Research, on the other hand, shows otherwise. There were no verbal IQ scores to speak of, but there was a lot of grit in the kids who finished first. In our culture, we're told, prodigies aren't made, they're born. In order to reach a high level of proficiency, it takes at least 10 years of dedicated practice in any field. As an example, Mozart is considered a musical genius, but he practiced for up to 8 hours a day as a child. The average daily practice time for a world-class performer is around 4 hours. We could also take a look at John Irving's writings. Irving is a well-known author who has won numerous accolades for his work. His struggles in school led to a dyslexia diagnosis, but he never gave up. To put it another way, Irving worked extremely hard on everything he did, a habit that has persisted throughout his life. If we look at how he spends his time, he spends the majority of it revising rather than writing the first draft of his novels. This man's secret weapon is tenacity and a willingness to put forth effort. When it comes to mastering a craft, effort is just as important as natural talent. If one lacks effort, one's talents are just untapped potential. We can take this a step further and say that skill without effort is nothing more than what you could have done but didn't. Former math teacher Duckworth made this concept into an easy-to-follow two-part equation. When talent and effort are combined, the result is mastery. In order to succeed, you need both talent and effort. There is a noticeable repetition of the word effort in this passage. There's a common belief that you can improve your basic abilities by working hard at them. As a result of your efforts, you will be rewarded with success. An outstanding achievement is nothing more than the sum of its small parts, according to Dan Chambliss. When it comes to skill and achievement, there is no secret ingredient, it is simply an abundance of effort. What we can do to boost our drive. Is there anything we can do to improve our grit? The question is, how do we put this formula into action? In order to become grittier, we need to follow these 4 steps. There is a distinct pattern to how these come about and how they progress. The first is curiosity. Interest is defined as a burning desire to learn more and a never-ending curiosity about one's work. The next step is to put your skills to the test. Work on your weaknesses on a daily basis, and you'll be on the right track. Thirdly, there is a reason. In order to have a sense of purpose, we need to hold on to the belief that what we do matters. In the end, it is hope that binds all of these phases together and spurs us onward in the face of obstacles. A closer look at these issues is in order. Finding out what piques our curiosity is a process that can take some time. All of us must take risks and try new things in order to discover our passions. Experimentation is imperative. If you're like most people, there will be a lot of things you dislike. With grit, we don't just stick with what we believe in, but we also quit when something doesn't feel right to us. This lifelong process of discovery and development is what it means to be passionate about something. It is not the same thing as having an aha moment. Then comes practice. Every day, try to improve on your performance from the previous day. However, deliberate practice is the key to success in the long term. Instead of just showing up every day and clocking 10,000 hours, deliberate practice involves focusing on specific areas of weakness and soliciting feedback from others who are more experienced. Grinders have the mindset that whatever it takes, they want to get better at whatever they do. It doesn't matter how good they are already. It doesn't matter if they get a lot of negative feedback, they still crave it. There must be a reason for this practice in order for passion to be transformed into firm conviction. This is what it means to be productive when your work has both personal and societal benefits. In order to better understand this, consider the following parable. First, I am laying bricks. Then, I am laying bricks for the church. Finally, I am laying bricks for God. The first bricklayer has a job, the second one has a career, and the third has a calling. People who are more determined to live a meaningful life tend to be more grittier. As a source of motivation, hope connects us to what we're here for. When we fall, Duckworth reminds us, fall 7 times, and rise 8 times. Hope is rising the 8th time, and it encompasses the belief that our efforts will have a positive impact on our futures. Wise parenting has been proven to be the most effective method of raising children, and it involves being both supportive and demanding of one's children. However, in order to help children develop grit, parents must demonstrate that they have the passion and perseverance to stick to their own long-term goals. Children look up to their parents. Mentors and other leaders can also provide this grit-enhancing support by working with children in various extracurricular activities and sports, which are beneficial when it comes to developing grit. Finally, I'll say this. As our attention spans and productivity shorten, it's more important than ever to embrace the grit mindset. According to Duckworth, to be gritty is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. To hold fast to an interesting and purposeful goal. To be gritty is to invest, day after week after year, in challenging practice. If you want to develop true grit, you need to be willing to take risks and try new things. Once you find something you're passionate about, challenge yourself to master it by working hard and setting long-term goals. You never know, you might just reach your goal. Thank you for listening in Audiobook Academy. Please don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. See you in next audiobook.